Whoops, come back here. So this should be the sheet that you have, and I'm going to see if I can make this just a little bit bigger for you, because I'm going to use this example to help us calculate the inflation rate. Help me, people. Where? Oh, here we go. Is that better? All right. Okay, now important to know. With this example, what we are attempting to do is we are attempting to find the inflation rate from 1995 to 1996. Okay? I know it's old just like me. So I'm going to number one. Okay? Number one says find your market basket. Now it's important for us to know that a market basket is just a group of goods that we are trying to calculate the inflation rate of. Okay? Just a group of goods that we want to measure the change in prices. So our market basket is going to be this group of goods right here. In our example, we are trying to calculate the inflation rate for food. Well, actually 5 food, 2 clothing, and 3 shelter. Okay? So I'm going to put market basket. Market basket. That's what we want to know. How the value of that group of goods is going to change from 1993 all the way to 1996. Now on your sheet, you should see it talks about the CPI market basket and the GDP deflator market basket. Okay? In this class, those are the 2 price indexes that we are going to use all the time. Okay? The difference between the GDP deflator and the CPI is what's in the market basket. So the CPI is the consumer price index, and the group of goods that price index is measuring is the stuff that your typical consumer spends their money on. Okay? And we're measuring that group of goods over time. The GDP deflator is just a different price index, so it measures a different group of goods. That group of goods in the market basket would be all things that are counted in a country's GDP. So CPI, we measure just a small group of goods that are produced. GDP deflator, we measure a big group of goods and how they change in value over time. Okay? And then today, we're creating our own price index. We're only measuring these 3 things. That's it. Okay? All right. Now, for part 2, we need to add the market basket value. So all I need to do is I need to take the quantity, and I'm going to multiply quantity times the price for each year. 5 times 6, 2 times 7, 3 times 12. That is going to give us the market basket value for 1993. Okay? So let's just quickly go through and do that. I know that 5 times 6 is 30. So we'll put $30. 7 times 2 is $14. And 12 times 3 is 36. So I add that all together, and the market basket value for 1993 is going to be $80. And we'll put over here, this is MB for market basket. $80. Okay? Now I'm going to do the same thing for 94, 95, and 96. Same quantity, just different price. And I'm going to give you what those values are. For 1994, if my math is correct, this should be 100. For 1995, my math tells me it's 110. And for 1996, it should be $118. So we have a market basket value for each year. Okay? Just the value of the group of goods for that year. Now, moving on. Part 3 says that we need to convert our market basket into a price index. So the formula is on your sheet, and I'm just going to write it off down to the side. Stop that. The price index is equal to the current market basket value divided by the base market basket times 100. Okay? Yes. Price index is equal to the current market basket divided by the base market basket times 100. Okay? Now we're going to designate for our data, we're going to designate 1993 as the base year. Okay? So now I have to plug my numbers in, my market basket values, into that price index formula to convert all this info, all these market basket values into a price index. Okay? So we're going to do that for 1993. The current value is going to be $80 divided by the base value, also going to be 80 because that's my base year, times 100. Price index for 1993 is going to be 100. And that will always be the price index in the base year, because in the base year, your current and your base market basket value will always be the same thing. Okay? 100. Moving on to 1994. The current value is going to be 100 now. My base is always going to be 80 for this example, because that's our base market basket value, times 100 equals, if my math is correct, this should be 125. That's for 1994. I'm running out of room on this thing. It's all right. All right, 1995, we're going to do the same thing. Current market basket value is 110. Base is 80 times 100. That gives me a price index value of 137.5. Oh, am I going to be able to fit that in there? Last one, 118 divided by 80 times 100. That gives me a market basket value of 147.5. I'm sorry, a price index value. So I have 4 price index tags, right? If I was an economist, okay, I wouldn't want to stop there. I would want a price index value for every year from 1993 all the way until 2018. Because what we're going to do now is we take these price index values and we can plug them into our inflation formula, and we can figure out the rate of change, the inflation rate, from any year that we want, that we pick from our data set here. Okay? So if you went to the Bureau of Labor Statistics website, sounds like a fun website, right? Yeah. You will find consumer price index data for every month from probably like 1900 until now, every month for every year. And you can pick any 2 numbers and figure out the inflation rate for just a month, for a year, for 10 years, whatever data you are looking for. Taylor Suzanne. A new one? Yeah, it's up here. Okay? So, last thing, step 4. We need to calculate the inflation rate. So I'm going to slide our inflation rate formula over here on the bottom left. You have it already on that sheet. But the inflation rate is equal to new price index value minus, I got to start over here. Sorry, we don't have enough room. It's going to be the new price index value minus the old inflation percent equals new price index minus the old price index divided by the old times 100. Okay? Which is, it is listed at the top of your sheet under number 4. Okay? So, I got to plug these numbers in. Okay? And I want to find the inflation rate from 95 to 96. So the numbers that I'm going to plug in there are going to be 147.5. Say 147.5 minus 137.5 divided by 137.5 times 100, and my inflation rate ends up being about 7, just over 7%. Squeezing all that stuff in there, sorry. So what have I done? I've taken the group of goods, that was our market basket. We found the value of those group of goods. We converted that info into a price index, okay, which allows us to easily grab price index numbers and throw them into our inflation rate formula and calculate the rate of change between any two price index values to get what we would call the inflation rate.